And so, I know I offend you, but the verbal vitriol for me was a little bit too much. And it's not a question of class, and it's not a question of style, it's not a question of any of that. It's a question of, this is the question. Let's ask kindergarten the retarded question again. What happens if you have a July 22-1 that already has had her head smashed on cross lights? And let's say you can't look at the forget-me-not, because miraculously the forget-me-not is not only pink, but has blues. I can't explain that. Because it was a ship in the CIA that fell with that girl before, seeing it coming from China on the coastlines, and 2 yachts. In other words, it's losses, because that's what a rompicabezas smashed and cut is, bashed in July 22-1. Now, you are the terrorists, and you want to scare me, the little flower phoenix that came out of it. You don't scare me. Now, what July 22-1 wasn't a microchip, was it? It wasn't any of that. So when Benjamin Ovori in Ghana did cancer on the 5th floor, and he became the director in Scotland and Canada for cancer, married a Chinese woman, and his mother saying that that represented the pink of Jamila, because Jamila was grey and black and white, and then she became multicolor after he smashed on her head on the coastlines. They weren't speaking only about corporate jargon, were they? They weren't speaking only about the corporations in Western Europe. They were speaking about, yes, it's murder, and they put a pretty face on it, the forget-me-not. And the atrocious part is that that's empty, the beautiful shit. Not only at La Sapienza. The brother of the mother used to, he's 96, 98, he did sciences at Warsaw Universities, at Kangu, Ulietanovo, mass media. She was in elementary primary school. She would say, that's all news on the news. You didn't do cancer and biomass. You used to do Moscow. The Mir space. In Cairo, the cousin of the father was the head of sciences at Cairo University, the ministry. And he'd say, go to Saudi Arabian Mir, Saudi Arabia Mir, Arabias. Grandma is Turk, and he said that I've never been to Turk, men normalt was det mest gamla programmer so. Now, this is the old news, the nails. So when they said there was a ship before, and now it's a yacht, and you still have the pretenses that you are patriots against me, it tells me that you are animals. And no amount of painted faces, no amount of smiles, no amount of verbal kindness or verbal vitriol, hatred, and everything in between is going to change what happened on the coastlines. You're keeping that void. So when I went to elementary primary schools and said to me, that's the old news on the news, the prophecy that we had, the Italians, the Western Europeans, the Brits, Martin Snowden, the head of sciences, let me just put it this way. Let's say something happened like that, and you have the red poppy fields on the coastlines, according to Tiziano Viana. The red poppy fields was on the coastlines, that's all news on the news. And you have this forget-me-not child come out. This is a particular corn cob. And you know that there's something behind her, because she was a phenomenon. And you get jealous of that, or you're disgusted by that. Rightly, thanks. And so forth. So, yeah, thank you. And there's also the blessings. Now you have to start seeing. I'd rather have the blessings of the Opus Dei, the Vatican, the Italians, the Southerners, the Brits, Martins, or even the Germans, my enemy, speaking about something in the past, Basler naming his niece Jamila. You are offending the intelligence on the planet. The Russians, the Arabs, okay, the Turks. I'd rather have that as Saudis, of course. I'd rather have that in the UN. Blessings left and right than your fucking Satan shit on the coastlines and me coming out like this after you smashed my head in. I'm sorry, you have no courage You're just cowards. For me, not that I'm a coward because I didn't say it to you. I don't need to say this to you. So, this is old news. And so if somebody rehashes a forget-me-not in history, 221 Delft, which was the particular number from Holland, wormhole to worm, and the UN, then you now know. The professors, for instance, Martin Snowden, all the other scientists, have the white hairs, eyebrows with her. Now, you haven't understood that they can continue without me, and I wouldn't control it. Meaning, this is the control part, is that if you already lost, say, the leader of the pack, okay? So, obviously, that's all news on the news. But if you, say, have enemies, like North Korea, or I don't know, some other countries, they say, why would they have killed that girl if they could see that shit coming? These are criminals. Yes, they are. And they called it the Holy Grail on the coastlines. Because even if it was from within, you have problems with it. The fact that you never admitted there's no such thing as perfection, but that you did it on purpose. You did it on purpose. Then you sent your psychos from Fresno to the baby in Frisco. And that was not only Dirk-Jan van Dam's Hague and Bureau de Veritas for the forget-me-not and the void that was left behind, or the poppy flower fields on the coastlines, but it was also the Roman Tribunal that you make look rosy. The Roman Tribunal is the German tribunal for your fucking extras. That's pretty heavy. Hospital in Fresno, psych, fuck this, fuck that, stalkers, haters, federal prisoners from LA, from Fresno, at the Dolores Shelter. Again, Bayo Gandios, we're back in high school between 13 and 15. Did you get out of fucking high school? Fresno? So it's not a question, and that's just for the extras. So if you think that I came back, connected dots worldwide to bugs, in 80 countries and 25 states, to be afraid of you, so that you can have your moment of glory on the coastlines, and I come back like this with no teeth and nothing. For the intelligence communities of Delft, think again, bitches. You ain't reopened no shit online. You'll never do what Jamila did originally on her flies and runnings. And you will not have July 20, 21st century as your birthday. That's void already, the poppy fields. Had I been only from Russia, only from Arabia, Saudi, only from Italy, only from England, only from Germany, no, all of the above. From there to blood, they're grown up, they're educated. That's your times. Now, considering you had the intelligence before, and you can see it coming like from China on the coastlines, then you lose it, then you have the pretenses. Okay, that's it. Otherwise, you need a kindergarten to educate you. All news on the news. Injustice. So now, you can be a political, you can be whatever you fucking want to be. I don't give a shit. Delft don't give a shit. Literally. Te non mi debatto. Anche qua. Quindi mi metti a fare sta merdaccia qua. E cosa formate? Allora, cosa? That was all news on the news. So don't be surprised that within the CIA, there was a ship that eventually became a yacht. Because within the CIA, and I ain't speaking about no banks, there are people with the plasma hairs that had those losses. And while you picked on this one as a forget-me-not, everyone else looked at you like, wait a minute. I don't like this shit, but it happened. So don't give me this shit about shit happens with a great arm. My papa cool. This all news on the news, motherfucker. Alright. So I can offend you in the same way that you offended me. This one. If you want to abuse me, go ahead. We'll have the Roman Tribunal, which is like the German Tribunal. Similar. Wow. So, your little hospital in Fresno, your nurses. For you, it's nothing. The Hague is nothing. That's nothing. The ship that fell, the Blauenhaus is nothing. You caused all of this, Fresno. Because even if I was on the coastlines, even if I was elsewhere, the parents are aware. They're on retirements in Fresno. And considering that I'm not a careerist in any shape or format, I'm not a bitch like you. And that even a 5-year-old rehash asswipe can see that around the capital cities, and there's a Scotland film to boot. That's what they're saying. That's how bad you are. So keep your PhDs. But reopen my shit, you ain't. July 2020. So that's the old news, right? The parents are born in pioneer camps beyond the capital cities. When I said to you they're born in the pioneer camps beyond the capital cities, I wasn't fucking kidding. That's the dog sheet. Okay? The jobs are directorates, D1s. D2s and D1s. Austro, TCO, later TCO, USA. That's humanitarian leave services. For him, it was more natural disasters. USA, I guess, sometimes a lot of it has to do also with natural disasters or droughts or something. Most of it, but some. So your lies, your verbal hate towards both parents was absolutely unnecessary in Fresno. And it was unnecessary in Frisco that you sent your stalkers from there. The El Salvadorian is Algerian. The Mexican is Yemeni. And they're all born in Fresno. And they're druggies. Mike Langley, I'm not going to mention, these are extras of extras, was a 19-year-old who, unfortunate druggie, had been twice to federal prison in LA, had been born in Fresno, and unfortunately was in that shelter at Dolores. Now, you're not going to get anything out of me. The paperwork, the originals and all are open about that. The house was moved. The investments were made in international banks after 4 years, and I can't touch them. I got a pension fund I can't touch. The only thing I actually can touch is the house on the border with Germany, which is an apartment that went twice its price, and I can sell in a few years without taxes. That's the only thing I can touch. In other words, and the rest of the money. In other words, everything is up and barrel in Western Europe. Why? Because they don't trust you. Because after you smash the head of that girl, they don't trust you in any shape or format, even for me. Which beguiles, why did I come back in this format? So when you're speaking about space breaks, when you're speaking about science tech breaks, they can be related to water. But I'm not going to speak about it. I'm not going to speak about cancer or advanced mathematics and Sapienza because it's empty. Just like in Massachusetts, just like in NASA, just like in other parts of the US. New York is only cancer shithead because Jamila wasn't pink. She was grey and black and white. That's why they moved the phenomenon to one aspect. The wormhole to the worm, which you denied in the US, which makes you worse than Israel, denying Palestine. Because you are special choice of people. Well, for the Catholics from the South, you're not. And for the Polish, who invented Zionism, they're racists. And the Germans are racists. So don't give me your shit about the history of the Jewish tribe for 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years in Western Europe or anywhere else, where they even invented the word ism of Zionism for colonialism and imperialism. Okay? Don't start with this shit with me. Not with me. With the Holy Land on the gross Terra Promessa on the ghost lands. No one is buying your shit. That girl was famous for something else. And yes, she was in the UN. That's not the parents either. You have shown to the rest of the world how you lost that intel. You didn't care until you lost it, and then when you lost it, you had your pretenses. Then those guys continued without her because we were a ship and I'm the yacht. And you got all hysterical on me, but you yourself didn't do it. Welcome to the record breakers. After you smashed my head in on the ghost slides. The nails is old news on the news around the world. Worldwide to globals, connected dots, worldwide to globals. Why do you think I came back with that little smile? That innocence. I ain't innocent, but I'm not you. I'm not a bitch like you. You could try to make a prostitute out of me. I'll be the best prostitute on the planet. Worse than Watergate, Nixon, as the Italians and the Brits would say. Fuck bitches. Don't you fuck with the baby. No, I've had enough. They've all had enough. They put the baby in between, and they thought they were going to have fun. She was a forget-me-not from the ghost land, to mention multitasking for the parents. Now you know why the intelligence brought back this one. The intelligence brought back this one because of the history of that girl. Okay? Herself. Abusing me is like spitting in the face of Warsaw University, spitting in the face of La Sapienza, spitting in the face of Martin Snowden, spitting in the face of Cairo University. And the Mir, considering that's not where she came from. The Mir was Russian and Saudi. So, it's not a question of behavior. It's a question of why you hate the forget-me-not. US, all these on the news, Roman Tribunal, Hague, the Veritas, Roman Tribunal. Would you like to have a second egg? Make you feel good, your PhDs. I'm not afraid of you. I literally have 47 to 21. That's 2 slots of a social security number of life before Rosie vanishes. And I was crab to crabby before. They're going to look at crab. That's what, too much pain. Oh my God, I didn't start it up. I can't look at this shit. There's blues behind her. I wouldn't be surprised, even if you smashed my original head in on the bus lines, they will have pink and blues. They'll have negatives out there. How? Don't ask. I wouldn't know how the fuck they did that. You'd have to ask the ship that fell with her. You'd have to ask those intels. The scientists. The July 2021 scientists. Because I'm dead. And that's my birthday. Literally. Trained poodle in the house. You fucking asshole. Well, look at it. Well, I'll show you something, little shithead. I got not many times around the walls and Canadian consulates, and man, trucks, cats, and dogs, and birds, and bees. That's this shit. This is it. You see the light? The traffic light? I don't know if you can see it. That's a traffic light, right? That's the roof of the library. It's a bit higher, actually, maybe that. Not between those two. There's hills. There's mountains beyond. Mountains beyond. Hills are above, behind, and a little beyond. Mountains beyond other areas, and then again, on the ground. More mountains on the ground. How many flies around the world can you have? And then you have this girl come out as a phoenix from the coastline. July 2021. Particular corn cob. Let me ask you, shall we go back to Disneyland? Shall we go back to kindergarten to make you feel good? Because I know you're good. You're good. Your PhDs are going to reopen that shit on the coastline. You're going to make negatives out of you, darling, when your ass is bombed. I'm not. You're not me, bitch. And the loss has already fucking happened. The ship already sunk. Why? Because they're not retards like you. They're not into... You understand that? You don't need a BB, degenerate version of myself to tell you this shit. From crab to crabby. Bad enough what happened on the coastline. And that's how they showed it. They showed it through me. Bing, Rosie. Okay? Rump cazzo to me again. With your mentally retarded fucking versions and your lies and Fresno for the parents. And you can't get it. Because if you have the goddamn world speaking about the same motherfucking thing, all those capital cities, and my brothers and little brothers, you talk about Intel. Yes, Intel. The hanging benches of Laura Quintus and Nelly Direct defending them both. That's their Supreme Courts. Defending both of them. In the Mediterranean, in Rome, there's a Scotland film, for instance. All right? There's no losses for the baby. We got dentists in Rome. But this one, and if there's some blues, there's too many bacteria out there of blues. You know what we can do? We can get a samplage, a couple of them. So you can feel good for your GDs and your PhDs. Okay? And your boyfriendsies and your girlfriendsies, because I didn't have time for shit all around the world with all the flyings and all the runnings. And now, in a blimp of time, I got all the time in the world. Blimp in and blimp out, right? Little Rosie. So you could send your fucking psychos to me because you're fucking retarded. All right. Yes, and Grabsky was an Ukrainian that was tied by the Roman Tribunal, German Tribunal, to get a lot of shelter. In other words, they have The Hague, the Bureau de Veritas, the Void, and that. In other words, I'm a walking and talking piece of paper. I'm not even a human being. Eat. Yes. Oh, you can make your cats a particular one. The fake version, boy. Oh, this. You think I'm a Goya? What was I famous for before having my head smashed in on the ghost lines? And you want to terrorize the baby because she's a little forget-me-not? Go ahead. You want a second head? Where Van? Who's Van? So this is what we call, it's not a question of victimization. You lost that intel, and now you want to, oh man. Ciao, carissimo, ciao, Leo. Oh, Leo, look at this. You see, this is what I'm talking about. There's neighborhoods in San Francisco too. Look at this. Look at Leo. Oh, baby, Leo. Alfonso and Leo. Okay. So this phenomenon of cats and dogs, birds and bees, insects, the whole shit is all over the capital cities. This zoo, as they call it, worldwide to global, so on all those crawlers, electricals. Now I'm saying sector intelligence, sector beyond, for the barracks, and of course on the coastlines, it's absoluto. I don't know what to say, other than Los Angeles Intel, and there's a ship to yacht to continue. I don't know the Lam has a business. You would have thought about it before. You know what they say, prevention's better than cure. And Tato, I was gray, black, and white, and some pink. Now what am I? Multicolor? Excuse me. What is this? Senora, 80 countries and 20 states have been connecting with dots worldwide to global. I am 50 years old. I'm a half century old. I'm not going to be putting up with this. You think that I got the patience and miseries of Calcutta? What about the parents and friends? The mountains, the hills. Man. Oh, more mountains on the ground. A baby. I don't want to have a baby. I am not being rude. You see, it's not me being rude. They think it's me being rude. And that's this is the nicest way to say it without offending you. You're offended by this? A lot of you either born, you know what, forget about it. You're not even born in the Middle Ages. You're not even born in the Stone Age. You're just thick as shit. Literally. You speak about being advanced in California. After even Elon Musk moved to fucking Texas. And I grew up with the kids of Elon Musk and wrote for free. That shit. So we're staying enrolled for retirement, and you are either bombing president, which what I would have done originally. Okay, space bomb, fine. And not some variant of a space bomb. I'm talking about more than the classical, many times. And I'm not the one saying it. Again, if I say it by myself, it don't qualify you bitch, I'll kill you. This is what I'm getting. Then you're coming around with your frat boys and others. Okay, you're so intelligent. Then why is it that those retards, Martin Snowden, the La Sapienza, the others, the scientists, the cancer research, the grays, the blacks, the whites, the scientists at La Sapienza, yes, and physics and all that, space sciences. Why? Andrew Dixon Smith in Rome, the neighbor for 4 years, 5 years downstairs, who worked for ESSA. There's hundreds of Shakespeare's. There's hundreds of Andrew Dixon Smith that I knew. Their names change all the time. Their faces, I can't take it anymore. Okay? Shit with this mess. So do me a fucking favor. The British, Andrew Dixon, everybody downstairs was British. All those neighbors were British in Italy. You're speaking about Rome. Every single one of those guys worked for ESSA. Every single one of those guys, Tracy Lamb, they were either Italian or British. And some of them were even semi-German. I can't help it. They changed, for instance, the head of sciences in London, he changed his name. What was his name? Martin Snowden. Martin Snowden has 250 different faces. I go to his office. Every time I go there, there's a different face. With the white eyebrows. I can't do this shit no more. I got the head of school and he changes. I got the professor, he changes. The only one who doesn't change is Gabo with his white eyebrows. Marafaculo. about shit Grand Schmidt Supertazology. And that was only the sciences. And maths of it suffice since you got the works in waiting circumstances as assistance. That's more than assistance, darling. Of course it's more than assistance. In other words, what I'm trying to say is with this mask that I don't like. Because mask, you see, if you lose the intel in such an atrocious way with the poppy fields on the coastlines, then this mask is not exactly what we call good news. You can say it's old news on the news, but it's still not good news. Because it's losses. And if I'm the face of the girl who represents the death of the intel on the coastlines, and there was a ship-to-yard, the CIA has the problem has, the Brits have the problem has, and the Italians. You can't stick in the Germans and say to me, Germany, I'm not fucking German. Okay, that was on the coastlines and in other parts of the world. They could see that shit coming from China. That's the old news on the news, the nails, isn't it? These are nails. And the basements in the Yuan, in London, the metros were white to globals with the blonde heads. You can't be falling, you say blonde head. The professors mostly have the blonde heads, the eyebrows. So you're going to say to me, one of the leaders comes back like this, of the, not the professors, the flies and the runs, eh? Comes back like this, and she says, oh, lele. And they call it the Manhattan Project of the 21st century, like that colloquially, which I think is the wrong word, but okay, I guess colloquially. And that's elsewhere. There's like in London, that's like in Italy, that's like in Germany, yeah, it could be anywhere, Asia, the coastlines, you know, that's where the work was. Okay. In other words, all news on the news, that can't be changed. In other words, a concept that signifies loss. So that's weird in itself, isn't it? They called it the Holy Grail. Okay, but Ben, you call it the Holy Grail. I say, that was my fucking ass on the coastline. You bring me like this, and I'm supposed to do what? The moose. Grab the crabby. Bad enough. Oh, but there is something out there. Some blues out there. There were the plumbers that they work together or something. But yes, I'm going to tell you what they are too. Fuck you, asshole. After what happened on the coastline, so don't make you think, cool. And don't abuse the baby, because the baby, my dear friend, didn't come back for you, cheap ass abuse. Not after that many connected those was above. Again, let's not mentioning Fresno, the place where the parents went on retirements. From the very beginning of all those flights, 92 and above, Ronnie's that many times, on the hills, 85, and this, of me, still got so you still gonna tell me about your PhDs? They got this and that. They were boyfriends and girlfriends. Oh, that's cool. I'm better. You want to bring I'm better to Fresno? Well, I ain't better to Lord Renters and I direct many motherfucking times around the world. Well, Micro is a little world. Not only are they terrorists on the coastline, then they say to me, I'll kill. Pointless. This is what we say. We put a point in history for 2 to 1. And we say, that shit was lost. She's showing it. And get over it. Because she didn't get it over because it was her own ass on the coastlines. Not bad, obviously. And so if you have this as a replacement, that's a cool. You say that there's a blue. Mayo! I don't know, we have something to, you know, we can say a role for retirement. A little alley. Matze does the alley. Those are the alleys. And Matze get B product of stupid times. In other words, those guys who are in the corporation, she was, let's say, you had the intelligence before from Jamila. Eventually, you kill it on the coastlines. In a way, it was the poppy fields, according to Tiziano Vian. Huh? Then you say to me, I got issues with that. Issues with what? That's all news on the news, motherfucking bitch. You're retarded. And I'm going to tell you that, you first, because I knew the shit went out. It's all news on the news and everything. And what about the pirates? What about the pirates right now? Private security. Where? The Zafapaga in Fresno areas. Intelligence of Fresno. From the very beginning to the end for the back. In other words, if I had been, you see, it's not only the schools, the elementary, primary, middle school, high school, at the age of 15 in London, those guys, all those people, all that intel, not only direct with the hanging benches for both parents in Brussels, Lord Winters with hanging benches in DC, defending both parents. What the fuck is wrong with you people? And then you're going to say to Big baby, we smashed her head in on the coastline July 22 to 1. She came back. A little forget me not of herself. I hate that bitch. US. I'm not having good action. Don't compare yourself to Poland with Pole exit in Article 7 and 46 countries voting them out of Europe. At least they didn't get Pole exit, just Article 7. Do not start the Piłsudski moment over there and the Eastern Bloc and the Ukraine war. And don't start this shit because we will slap it right back to you. And we did. Thank you through me too. With the European Tribunal for your extras. No extras, not mine, thank you. Yes, who's terrorist? Oh, and they're losing. Yes, and then they said, well, she wasn't alone. There was a ship there. Oh, well. But I can't control that. Can anybody control that kind of intel? Old news on the news? No. It wasn't even a kind of, became a type. Guys, it's too much. And that's not even mentioning the parents at Fresno. And this is what's been going on globally. With all the flies, the running, and the growlies. And man, I got the dogs, the birds, and the insects, but now the zoo globals. For me, on my literal growlies. Literal growlies. You know, the Scott Glenn film comes to mind. Either that or Space Bomb Fresno. My original would have bombed that place. Unfortunately, I didn't. Excuse me. And I am not the one saying it. Stop the playing. And if I try to say it, because anyway, I'll kill you, bitch. It doesn't work. And on the coastlines, whatever happened on the coastlines, that's it. Arrivederci e sayonara. Madonna mia. Bravo. Yes. I can't take it anymore. The Canadian consul as well. For 20 years, going to send a rope of gas. The cement trucks over for 20 years in Brussels. 2001. Was it 1997, 98, 2001? City, I don't need to. And the thing is, if I don't say anything on my growlies, little growlies, because I'm not, she's crazy bitch, she don't say no. Okay, you heard it. You wanted to see it? You saw it many times. You missed it? It? On the coastlines? You don't care. Okay, then why is it getting worse? Bitches did. Why is it getting worse? Ship to yacht. It's you from China long ago. The nails was all news on the news. That's how the US lost beautiful intelligence. And not just cheap-ass cancer. New York and Poland, Algeria and Tunisia. The girl was grey. She was black. And she was white, not pink. Now she's multicolor. There is something thinking behind that girl, and I, unfortunately, wouldn't be able to show it to you. Why? Because you hate. And as long as you hate, and as long as you don't understand what this Rosie is, you don't deserve shit. You, not me. I may not deserve shit because I'm already not that girl. But you certainly don't deserve to have your pretenses and your hate towards me. And that's not even mentioning the parents of Fresno on retirements. Pieszcz, Norris, Pania camps beyond the capital cities, Oslo, TCUR, USA, their jobs, and the hanging benches of Lark Winters and I read that many times. And the Scotland film to boot. Because there's no sacrifice by now to stay in Rome. So baby, I don't know if they get 1 or 2 blues, some flash, go ahead. That's it. That's what they showed, and that's what they keep showing. And the intelligence is in Fresno that claims it is, I don't know what, on the planet for the parents, and that shit on the coastlines that happened, or greatnesses, now you know why they're losses. So, get your PhDs, slap them on your tits, show how great you are and how professional you are, but all those flyings and runnings, you didn't do. I did. And I ghosted myself in 80 countries and 20 states connected those with West Globals. I am right now 50 years old. I'm 51 almost. I'm 10 years out of Fresno. 4 years I was doing the trekkings. And then I stayed abroad and then I came back. And I'll tell you one thing, those t-shirts on my crawlies and let's crawlies. Nobody on this planet that many times is going to buy that shit from you. And that shit on the coastlines, they obviously didn't buy because it's already lost. And so, the reason Forget Me Not came back was to tell you that. And stop telling me about, when they removed my teeth at the age of 5 and I'm looking at this shit, La Sapienza, that shit said. And Tiziano Vian is saying to me, that's the poppy fields on the ghost lines, La Sapienza. The math and the science. I said, where's the cancer? You have to start thinking and start seeing that there are people out there who are. And you kill that girl and you're denying it. That doesn't make you a country. No. The Roman tribe, you can add the Roman tribe, you want all the papers you want. Trudirkian Van Damme, The Hague, and the Bureau de Veritas, because that's already void because of the death of the original girl. I'm the forget-me-not. That's not the parents. That many flyings, that many runnings, and that many crawlies, and the crawlies of me, and they're on retirement at Fresno. And guess who's defending them? And not only, they don't trust you. They sent and sent and sent and sent and sent. And they were correct to send to Fresno. In front of La Sapienza, knowledge, there's a coffee shop, a cappuccino shop in Rome, San Lorenzo Hostel, and he's saying, this is old news on the news, I'm Kuwaiti, I own a sandwich shop, subway shop in Fresno, Aunt, Mother May. They moved. Okay. And so what about the bank? That's a completely different location. Yeah, just I'm looking at the difference. When you understand that, when you understand what they're trying to tell you that many times in the capital cities, the intel, the masses, the people, and who is running all this? Fresno. The intelligence of Fresno. We even sent you psychos to me here at the Dolor of Schutz. And there are people here who are taking it as an insult. Be very careful. Be very careful, the people here who have brains, the veterans here who have brains, the people in the US who have brains. They're not blind. They're not going to be sitting there and having pretense, look at me, look at I have a limousine. They don't give a rat's ass for that shit.